Welcome into Chic and Ball. I'm your host, ElzdaTruph. Thank you for tuning in and watching. On today's show, we look back at the 2024 season for the Phoenix Mercury. We talk about all 15 players that wore a Phoenix Mercury jersey this year, but where I want to start is with first-year head coach Nate Tibbetts. He had a solid year as a first-year head coach. He brings a lot of experience from the D-League, G-League, and NBA. He actually started his professional coaching career in 2021. This being his second time as a head coach. His first time was with the Tulsa 66ers back in 2009. And he's currently the highest paid coach in the WNBA. Now, in his first year, he coached the Mercury to a 19-21 record, making the playoffs, but the team got swept by the Minnesota Lynx. They finished 9th in defense, and watching this team over the year and preparing the highlights, I noticed the offense didn't run as smooth as it should, especially with all the players you got in the lineup. You got Natasha Cloud, you got Kahleah Copper, Becca Allen, and Brittney Griner. That should have been a lot way more easy flowing, but I think there was too much of an emphasis on threes. They took way too many threes and shot a poor percentage. Sophie Cunningham, now she shot 37% from three, but the rest of the team shot a combined 31%. One thing I did like about Coach Tibbetts, unlike some coaches, he didn't penalize players when they made mistakes. For example, if a young player like Celeste Taylor or Natasha Mack turned it over or took a bad foul or bad shot, he trusted them, and I think it helped those players in particular get better. But for the veterans, I think he need to do a better job at setting the offense and the defense for them because it didn't look good in certain stretches. But other than that, I like him as a head coach, and I think he'll get a whole lot better. Now, let us talk about the players on the team, starting with Charisma Osborne. Phoenix Mercury selected her in the 2024 draft in the 3rd round. She was waived by the Mercury early in the season, but they brought her back in to play a couple games at the end of the year. Now, the record shows she played in 2 games, but not really. In one of the games, she played 8 minutes, scored 2 points, got a rebound, got an assist. The other game she played in was only for 2 minutes, so she didn't get to do nothing. I think the speed of the WNBA was a little bit too much for her, so hopefully she work on that in the offseason. Now I want to talk about Amy Atwell. Former 3rd round pick out of Hawaii, played in a total of 6 games for the Phoenix Mercury, 26% from the field, 26% from 3. Gotta be thinking about a bounce back year. She from Australia, still trying to find her way in this league. We'll see where she ends up in 2025. Now let's keep it moving and talk about Morgan Bertsch. Morgan Bertsch actually got drafted back in 2019. She got waived for the first 4 years of her career. Played in Chicago in 2023, played 8 games for the Phoenix Mercury in 2024. Former 3rd round pick, another player still trying to find her way in this league. Now let's keep it moving and talk about the girl from Riverside, California, the lovely Monique Billings. We talked about Mo when we reviewed the Dallas Wings, where she played 24 games. Only played in 13 games for the Mercury, but she was just as productive. This upcoming season, when she's playing for the Golden State Valkyries, I'm expecting her to have a breakout year and possibly even make the All-Star team. Ain't nobody on this roster gonna challenge her for that starting job, and this gonna be her first time being a full-time starter in the WNBA. Now, we gonna do a 5 players most likely to break out podcast, but you might be getting a sneak peek at one of those players. Now let's talk about the former Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket and Louisville Cardinal, Liz Dixon. Liz appeared in 17 games for the Phoenix Mercury. She wasn't able to really be productive as she only averaged 1 point. She's an undrafted player, 6'5", also still trying to find her way in the league. Let's keep this thing moving and talk about Sug Sutton. Another player that we talked about on a previous show when we did the Washington Mystics review. But this is where she played her most games in 2024, where she played 22 games. I think Sug just need to get a little bit more decisive on the offensive end because she can score the hell out the basketball, but she get a little tentative when she get around those better players. And I don't mean that they better than her, I'm just talking about the tougher competition. Now let's keep it moving and talk about Natasha Mack. One of only 2 players to play in all 40 games for the Phoenix Mercury, and she also started in 11. She shot 57% from the field, so that was very, very productive on her part. Only gave the team 4 points per game, however, and that's what you like to see, being productive and the little opportunities that you get. At 6'3", she's also proved herself as a shot blocker and rim protector. And after not playing in the WNBA in 2022 and 2023, after 2024, I think she can consider herself a permanent stay in the WNBA. Now I want to talk about Natasha Cloud. I thought Tosh had a pretty good year. She finished the season with the most total assists that she's ever had in any season, but the one thing that's plagued her for her entire career is just her efficiency. She only had 1 season in the WNBA where she shot over 40% from the field, and that was back in 2018. But credit to her, not only can she pass the ball, she fight her ass off on defense and made the WNBA's all-defensive second team. Now she'll be in New York playing with her significant other, Isabel Harrison. Now I want to talk about Rebecca Allen. Rebecca Allen played in just 18 games for the Phoenix Mercury, got banged up, and got traded this offseason to the Chicago Sky. But she's very productive, averaged 7 points on 42% shooting and 36% from the three-point line. I mean, then you pairing Bex with Rachel Banham, they gonna shoot the lights out over there in Chicago. This will be her 3rd team in 3 years, so you gotta think she's looking to have a breakout season. Now I want to talk about Brittney Griner. And I don't even want to talk about the season that she had. I want to talk about how anytime somebody talk about Brittney Griner, somebody always got something stupid or ignorant to say. I don't know what got into y'all, what they putting in the food or in the water that make y'all think y'all can just say whatever y'all want and just disrespect people to the highest regard, but y'all need to cut that out. And the worst part about it for me is a lot of y'all ain't never been through nothing. Y'all ain't never been through no court cases. Y'all ain't never had to talk to no cops, no judge, no prosecutors, no sheriffs. So you really don't know nothing about that life or how scary it is going through that type of investigation. Even when you innocent, even when you guilty and you taking accountability, they still don't care nothing about you as a black person in this country, especially as a black lesbian woman. If any of y'all got jammed up anywhere, y'all would want us to have y'all back just like we had her back. She's an American citizen, she was born on this soil, and that's all that should matter. And I'ma stop right there because y'all definitely don't want me to get into politics. Now we're gonna simmer down and talk about the lovely Mikiah Herbert Harrigan. Former number 6 overall pick out of South Carolina, ton of talent, really good spot up shooter. The stats didn't show it this year. She only averaged 3 points, but she plays with a lot of confidence as you see her woof at Jordan Horston right there. And watch this block on Dejanay. Not many players in this league getting chased down blocks like that. She played in 31 games for Phoenix, and she signed a training camp contract with the Dallas Wings for 2025. Now let's talk about Celeste Taylor. Celeste played her best basketball in Phoenix this year. She ended up playing on 3 different teams, so you'll hear me talk about her 2 other times, but she played the most games here, which was 15. Bouncing all around the country, this the same thing that she did when she was in college. She played on 3 different college teams, And now in her first year in the WNBA, she played on 3 different teams. I don't know how it's possible for her to play in 6 different states before the age of 25, but I know she worked her ass off. And watching her in Phoenix, they pretty much allow her to play point guard. I just think she need to get a little bit more decisive, a little bit more aggressive. She looked to pass too much when she really need to be scoring. She also signed a training camp contract with the Phoenix Mercury for 2025, so clearly they like what she was bringing to the table. Now I want to talk about the scrap queen, Sophie Cunningham. And I call her that because she will literally get in there and scrap it out with anybody. Somebody got up in her face last season and she looked that girl dead in her face and said, "I will F you up." Now, I ain't advocating for no fights, but I definitely love and respect that about her. Take into account the year that she had in 2023, this was kind of a down year if you just look at her point average, but I think she just didn't have as much responsibility. She played in all 40 games for Phoenix, and she'll be taking her talents to Indiana to team up with Caitlin Clark. Now let's talk about former Finals MVP, Kahleah Copper. Kai averaged a career high in points this past season with 21 points per game. She also dished out 4.5 assists, and I think that number gonna go up this coming season. And I bring up that Finals MVP to say this. She ain't played with a player like Satou Sabally since she played with Candace Parker, and when she did that, she chipped up. I mean, I would love to see Kai give a little bit more effort on the defensive end. To this point in her career, she ain't never even averaged a steal. But if you put some good players around her, then you're gonna get what you asking for. Now let's end the show by talking about the great Diana Taurasi. What an amazing storybook career she had. 20 years all with one franchise. She won the league MVP, 2-time finals MVP, 3-time champion, 5-time scoring champion, all-time leader in points, 14-time All-WNBA. She gonna go down as one of the Mount Rushmore WNBA players. Now that I said that, let me say this. I really don't like how these players just go out and retire and ride off into the sunset. I seen this with Tim Duncan. We saw it with Candace Parker, Lisa Leslie, and a number of other great players. They just retire and they don't get that Kobe Bryant-like farewell tour. And I think you owe it to the fans around the world. You played Olympic basketball all those years to not even have a farewell tour. I don't care if you're not about the glitz and glam. It's not about what you want. It's about us as fans wanting to celebrate you. I tell people that about their birthdays all the time. Like, it's not about you. It's about us wanting to celebrate you. Just relax and have fun. All sports legends deserve a farewell tour. Riding off into the sunset like that, I literally feel cheated as a fan. But salute to Diana Taurasi. I wish you all the best in your next career because I know it's going to be something special like it was in the WNBA. But there you have it, another episode of Chic and Ball. If you made it this far in the show, please hit that like button, share the video with a friend, and comment your thoughts about my take on the farewell tour. Do you agree that these legends need to let us know when they're retiring so they can get a farewell tour? Or is it their prerogative? If they want to ride off into the sunset, they can do it. What's your thoughts on that? But that's all I'm going to say for now. Thank you again for listening and watching. I'm Els for PR&M. Talk to you on the next one.